Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, Astery. Good morning. Uh, yeah, just want to give you guys a chance to jump on and live this morning. I am in the state of a compound. All right, there you are. Good morning, Cheersy. Good morning, Georgia. Good morning. Good morning, guys. So happy to have you this morning. This morning, I am coming to you from the state of a compound. And I've been here 2 days now. And, I've just been going through and I'm seeing so many plants, so many herbs that I don't know, so many herbs that I'm seeing for the first time. I saw Morning MDP. Morning, guys. Send out the link, send out the share. Could you just send it to about 2 or 3 persons? Um, And this morning, we want to know where you're coming from, NDP. Just tell us where you're joining us from. And just want to remind you that if you didn't know before, we do have a Telegram group. That is the Kinder Wellness Community. Um, and today, I'm gonna show you some. I'm gonna send some pictures. I won't be able to go up because I'm in the state of a compound, San Francisco. All right, so San Francisco in the house this morning. So this morning I'm in the Maroon State. Sim Taylor, morning Sim. Good morning. This morning I'm in the state of a compound. So I'm in a compound state. And you know, I had a clinic yesterday. So what happened yesterday was I wanted so much to be live. And I'm so excited because I want to tell you there's so much we're doing. So we're in the state of a compound and there's a clinic. I want to take a picture of the clinic. There's a clinic here. I've spoken to the Chief Curry, and he's out of town. But there's so much that we want to do together because we want to set up the first 100% indigenous Caribbean medicine operated clinic. We want to set up the first 100% indigenous Caribbean medicine operated clinic here in a compound. So we have the building, and I'll share with you just how you can help us with that. So this morning, I'm at my host house, and you know, there's just so many herbs. Well, let me just take off my shoes. Let me take off my shoes, guys, because I want to be grounded this morning. So I'm taking off my shoes because I'm not on regular soil here. I'm on the hold on. I'm not on regular soil, guys. Let me turn the camera around. This is where I'm staying. So I'm not on regular soil because I'm on maroon territory. Um, the land that I'm on was the is a indigenous state. It is the first um, territory, first land that was given indigenous status, sovereign status. Uh, blessing. Oh my heart. Oh my heart. You're gonna be here January 6th. Yeah. So we have some plan for January 6th here. But there's just so many herbs that I was expecting. There are so many herbs here that I'm seeing for the first time. A lot of them that I know. So this morning, what I wanted to do is I'm gonna go through and we're gonna do an audit. So we're gonna look at what are the herbs that are growing here in abundance. And when I came, the house that I'm staying, the host is a nurse in her 80s, but you would know. And I was amazed at the amount of herbs that she could just casually draw from her kitchen. So yesterday I made a medicine for cancer just by herbs that was casually found in her kitchen. Um, and she had noni juice, she had vervain, she had guinea hen, she had marijuana, she had uh, soursop leaf, she had turmeric, she had ginger. All of this was just on the property. So all those herbs are on the property here. So we're going to explore that in a little bit. But as I was there with her yesterday, and I started to just get that inclination, that intuitive word, um, you know, and I just want to talk to you about 5 minutes before I do that, because I was looking at how much herbs she had in her home, and it got me thinking about the role that women play. And shalom, Olizia. We just did unit. Most of our students just finished unit one in our course. We actually start out the course by looking at the contribution of herbalists, and one of the first herbalists we looked at was uh, Mary Seacole, and we looked at Mary Seacole because since I've been in healing, since I've come to healing, the phenomenal respect that I have for women has become super phenomenal, because healing carries a feminine energy. And I just want to use the opportunity this morning to just celebrate our women, and to celebrate the important role that women play in healing. And I don't want to underscore that. I start out by saying usually that if you want to know how much the Most High valued, if you want to know how much Yahuwah values women, when he looked at man and woman, um, he entrusted the responsibility of nurturing and carrying life to women. And that says a lot. When he looked at the man and he looked at the woman, he decided that the woman would carry and nurture life for 9 months. And so that is the amount of trust that he invests in women. And so women are not ordinary. And there's a saying that says, he that rules, he that rocks the cradle rules the world. And I just want to say that maybe one of the most powerful position in the world is the position of femininity, is the position of a woman. Even though the scriptural structure of the home, and I know some persons may disagree, even though the spiritual structure of the home is that of a man being the head and the woman being submissive, a lot of persons thinks that submission is a place of weakness. But I just want to use this opportunity to say that's actually a misconception, because submission is a place of dominance. Submission, because it takes the person, anybody who submits, it takes more self control, it takes humility to submit than not to submit. So once a person is submissive, once a woman is submissive, it's actually a place of power. And here's where the power comes in. For me, the most influential person, or the person that has the most influence over me, is actually my wife. And one of the reasons for that is because of, her submission. And so it's funny how men interpret love. Men interpret love through respect. And so a woman who is submissive, a man interprets that as love. And when a man interprets that as love, that woman has the power and the influence far more over that man than anybody else. So when you really think about it, she who rocks the cradle really rules the world. And so this morning, I just want to celebrate our women. I want to celebrate the women in our group, because I want you to understand that the sixth sense that I talk about, that is so necessary and fundamental for for us to function as natural healers, it is more natural for women than it is for man. And so, even that responsibility of nurturing and taking care of the home, one of the things that has affected us so badly is the fact that our women have not been properly taught the arts of healing and the arts of understanding the food out there. And so that what that has translated into is that it has translated into a negative effect in our homes. And so what it is that we want to correct is that we want to correct, we want to give knowledge, we want to give the wisdom and the healing understanding of the herbs back to our women. We want to empower them. And so by doing so, what we are doing is actually empowering the home, empowering the household. When a woman is empowered, she has the ability to empower her entire household. When power is taken from a woman, what happened is that it's the power is being taken from our homes. It's going to affect the man of that house, and it's going to affect the children of that house. So this morning, I just want to encourage women, and I want to encourage you to celebrate your femininity. We live in a society now where to celebrate femininity is a problem, where to identify femininity is a problem. And that is what happens when we stray, when we move away from our indigenous culture. All right, so this morning, guys, let me share with you some herbs. So let me just turn the camera around, and I want you to look at that vastness. I want you to look at that vastness. Because as you know, Maroon is in the cockpit country. So there's a lot of mountains. It's a lot of mountains. And I wanted to look on this tree. I wanted to look on this first tree. So this is the famous noni. All right, many of you will know noni because it's a Polynesian plant. It grows in the Hawaiian area in abundance, and it also grows in the tropics. I believe this is found in the States. It's found in places like Florida. All right, and the noni fruit. All right, so that's the fruit of the noni, and all parts of the noni tree is medicinal. So the root is medicinal. When you dig the root up, it looks like a turmeric. All right. So when you dig the root up, it has a turmeric uh, color, and the root is actually because it has carotene in it. All right. And you know, yellow herbs that carry carotene is anti-inflammatory. And a matter of fact, the root of the noni is very good for back pain, very good for strain muscle, that type of thing. So is the bark. The leaves are very good for um, to be used as a poultice. So they can be used on boils, it can be used on abscess, that type of thing. And it can be used for high blood pressure as well. And then we have the famous fruit. Now, this fruit, the fruit, um, you can drain it, right? So there it is, that's the fruit. So you can take the ripe fruit and you can set it to drain. So you can set the fruit um to drain. And most people didn't know this, but the fruit produces a juice, and that juice is excellent for being used as a menstruum, right? What is a menstruum? A menstruum is used to further extract medicines. So let me give you an idea. So because I'm using it as a menstruum now. So in our recipe for cancer, um, we get the ginger, we get the turmeric, we get the cat's claw, we get the soursop leaf, we get the marijuana root. Um, you can get all of those ingredients, and you can blend them in the juice of the noni, and then you can set it, because noni juice cannot spoil. It can't go bad. It what it and so what it does, and it has a certain amount of alcohol in it, or vinegar, I should say, in it. And so when you set the herb in that liquid, what you're actually doing is using the juice as a cold menstruum. So you can make medicines by boiling them. So you can have a hot infusion, which is a tea. So what you're basically using is that you're using the heat from the hot water to extract the medicines from the plant. Now, um, it's so that's powerful, but you don't have to use heat, because whenever you use heat, sometimes the heat destroys, very valuable minerals. So rather than doing a hot infusion, you can do a cold infusion. So just like with water, if you get any herb and put it in cold water for 12 to 24 hours, that water will still extract all the minerals out of the herb. But instead of using heat to do the extraction, you can just use a room temperature um, option to extract all the medicine. And what you're going to find is that the heat would not have destroyed some of the minerals. The thing with a tea is that it may go rancid, it may go sour if left not covered for about a day or so. Then it will go covered. With a noni juice, that thing stays preserved forever. So you can leave that for a year, you can leave that for 2 years, and it will continue to pull all. Morning, Tundes, Baba. Morning, Stargate Communication. So if you leave it in the noni juice, what will happen is that it will create a cold infusion. So the juice of the noni, therefore, is a phenomenal menstruum. It can be used, you can make the juice, and then you can further use that juice now to extract your medicines and have a 100% more potent medicine. So I do cold infusions with some herbs using noni juice. So let's move on. Morning, Tunde. Morning. All right. So I'm seeing so many plants, and we're gonna try and see to identify as many of them as is possible. All right. So this one is pavana. All right. This is pavana. All right. So I'm gonna take a piece of the pavana. Take a piece of the pavana. Take a piece of the pavana, and I'm gonna taste it, because by tasting the herb, I tell you what I do. Mm. So I'm tasting a little sweetness. It's a little sweet. It's slightly sweet, and I'm tasting a little bit of astringency. And uh, so pavana is really like a slightly sweet, slightly uh, slightly sweet, and it has a laxative uh, property. So it causes the body to go into to have that laxative experience. But what I want to look on the pavana, I'm gonna look on it. I want to show you something, um, and I want you to look at the color or the vibrant colors of the leaves. No, pavana as a herb, and most of the herbs, most herbs that you see having this bright brilliant, vibrant color. It is used in a way that a lot of persons don't know, right? So it is used in energy healing, right? So that brilliant color that you're seeing uh, is a display of the frequency that it gives off. So let me just turn this around. I'm gonna go back to it. So beside it, there's another one that's also used like that. So those two herbs are used in energy healing. What do I mean? They are used to cleanse your aura, right? So your aura is an energy that you carry. Some persons may carry an aura of depression. Some persons may carry an aura of happiness. Some persons, that the energy that you exude when you come into the room, what is that dominant energy that you carry? Well, there are persons whose ailment, whose sickness is not of a physical nature, it's of a spiritual nature. And when we talk about spiritual nature, what comes to most people's mind is demons or obia. Spiritual does not necessarily mean that somebody has done something to you, because we are physical beings and we are also spiritual beings. Spiritual conditions can be the result of decisions that we have made, number one, and it can also be the result of people whose energy has been transferred to us. So let me give you an example. You go to work. You got up this morning, you went to work, and you are happy. You're in a happy mood. But you went to work and you met a member of staff who just had a fight with their partner this morning. So they came to work and they're in that state of aggression. They're in that state of bitterness. They're in that state of anger. And the minute you meet them, sometimes you touch them, sometimes you start to talk to them, that aura can be transferred to you. And all of a sudden, you just feel like your day has been changed. And sometimes you carry that aura around. I want to tell you that this is so dangerous that a lot of the accidents that take place on the road is the result of negative aura. A lot of that, and sometimes a lot of the aura that comes in the office is the result of aura that person's picked up on the road. So sometimes it doesn't have to be negative, it doesn't have to be physical contact. You're going to work, you're in a good mood, and somebody just bad drives you. And from that bad experience, they transferred their negative aura to you, and begin to go around and begin to contaminate other persons with that negative aura. Sometimes it's somebody who is bitter about something, somebody cheated them, somebody told a lie on them, and they're just so bitter, mad, and upset, and they transfer that emotion to you. That emotion is an aura. Now, some auras can last for a day, you just shake it off. But what about those aura of being deceived, being used? You're in a relationship and you did so much, you contributed so much, you gave so much, and you found out that the person was just using you, the person was taking advantage of you. All that emotion becomes an aura, and that aura is contagious, and that aura can lead to physical ailment. Now, this is where this herb comes in. This is where this herb comes in. And so, one of the ways of cleansing, I'm going to show you, one of the ways of cleansing yourself of negative aura is by taking a piece of, seeking your permission to just take a piece of your branch to demonstrate. All right, so need your medicinal. And so what would happen is natural healers sometimes would put you to lie down and they would use the plant to sweep away negative energies. They would pass it over you because all of this different vibrant color that you're seeing, the vibrancy, you can't see it, but the vibrancy of, because different colors give off different energy. and I don't even know if I should go into that deeper, because I want you to understand that a lot of what our ancestors did, this act of moving aura, wasn't mysticism. It wasn't rooted in what's the term, Lloyd? What's the term, Lion? Not mysticism. Superstition. Thank you. So a lot of the wisdom of our ancestors, thank you so much. A lot of the wisdom of our ancestors, modern science reduced to superstition. Now, there is a camera called a Curlian photography, and it's a camera that is used, that when you take a picture, it the image that it gives off is the amount of energy that something is giving off. So let me give you an example. If you take the Curlian photography camera and take a picture of a slice of bread, there's absolutely nothing, because a piece of bread is dead. But if you take the Curlian photography camera and take a picture of an apple or a banana, what you will see is a very low, what you will see is the image of a light, and that light usually carries a color. That color, because as you know, in the color spectrum, different colors carry different frequency. Hence, yeah. Hence, you have what is called uh, color therapy. So there is a modality in natural medicine that is called color therapy, where you are healed using different colors, because different colors carry different frequency. Now, in this plant, what you're seeing is a multiplicity of flower, a natural presence of different colors. So there are different frequencies. There are multiple frequencies in the plant from a color spectrum perspective. And so this now makes this plant, so a green plant would just be one color, one frequency. A red plant would be one color, one frequency. And depending on the brightness of the greenness or the redness or the yellowness, it determines the color of that frequency. Now, these plants carry multicolors. So it's like taking a piece of a wand, or taking a piece of instrument that is scientifically naturally formulated with the right colors and frequency to carry out that job. And so I'm not going to take too long on this, but I want to show you how powerful. So what you will see is that sometimes you go to certain religious organizations and you'll see them on the table, and you'll see them being infused in the worship. You'll see them being infused in worship. It is because they carry a spiritual component. A lot of the times, morning Ruth, Anna, morning Cheersey, morning, welcome to the live. So a lot of times you will see, so there are some healers who their modality, the mode of their healing is using the plants to clear what they now call your chakra or your energy points. And so what they're doing is they're removing negative energy, negative aura. And so once that negative aura or that negative energy is removed, it now sets the pace for physical healing to take place. And I want to tell you that a lot of the persons who have physical ailments, it's rooted in spiritual aura, spiritual energy. Thank you, Jamon. And so a lot of persons, I spoke to you some time ago about a client that we're working with right now. I'm telling you, oh my goodness. She has identified that the source of her cancer, the source of her cancer is not physical, it is spiritual. There are some persons out there who carry a negative energy, a negative aura, that almost everywhere they go, they contaminate. And that is the reason why sometimes we must be careful and not be in a hurry to touch persons. Touching people can be dangerous, and I'm not talking about superstition. Touching persons is very dangerous. When you have to be careful, because people can pass on negative energy to you. And I don't even want to go into the Torah, because that's one of the reasons why the scripture says in the Torah that when a woman has a child, if it's a girl child, I think it's 33 days, for a boy, 66. Nobody really should come in contact. Oh, I feel like preaching this morning. Because a lot of persons, the negative aura that they carry they got contaminated from they were a child, because an infant in the stage of innocence is not able to protect themselves physically or spiritually. And so when you have a child, women, and you need to learn this, you need to learn this. When you have a child, and I see this where a woman will have a baby, and she just allow people to come into the room. Hey, she's so cute, and touching the baby. You don't know what type of negative aura or negative energy is being passed on to your infant baby. And so in the Torah, it says that a woman, and again, a woman, even a woman who just gives birth is very vulnerable emotionally, physically, and spiritually. A woman during a menstrual cycle is very vulnerable. That is, and so in the scripture, it says that during this period, a woman should be separated. That separation is not a punishment, it's a protection. Every instruction in the Torah is from the premise of protection. It is to protect, it is to create a barrier to protect those within inside the barrier. So a lot of persons, a lot of children who, for example, carry certain spirits, spirit of rejection, you know, when you're a baby, you were born into a world where you were not welcome in the first place because you are considered to be an accident. Mommy considers you to be an accident. Daddy considers you to be an accident. So the first touch that you get is a touch of rejection. Many of the doctors, many of the nurses in Freemasonry, in witchcraft, a lot of the time, the first touch that they get, and that is the reason why in the scripture, in the Torah, a baby, when they are entering the world, the minute they leave the portal of the womb and enter the realm of the world, the first person who touched them was somebody who was a spiritual person. All right. So the midwives, the midwives or the priest who was involved in that process would have been a spiritual person. That would have been the time when a ceremony would have been held to bless that child. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I feel that somebody need to hear that. So a lot of persons who have ailments, the root of that ailment is a spiritual one and not a physical one. And we're not talking about spiritual. I'm not talking about somebody who went somewhere to place a curse on you, and that can also be the case. But herbs not only heal us physically, they also heal us spiritually. So one thing I say to women is when a woman has a child, it's a boy child, we go back to the scripture, 33 days. 33 days, nobody should come close. And these are things that are taught to our women. Nobody should touch that child except the mother. I mean, not even the father, the mother. And I'll tell you why. Nobody should touch that child except the mother for the first 33 days. For a girl, for the first 66 days. Nobody should touch that child. And I want to show you these things. All right. So, Ruth Hannah, let me show you something. Moses was growing up in Potiphar's house. Moses was grown up. So boys is weaker spiritually. That is the reason why. So, I mean, we don't understand the effects of masculine and feminine energy. So Moses was grown up in Potiphar's house. So Moses, who was supposed to be the deliverer, who was supposed to deliver the children of Israel, he was grown in Potiphar's house. But he was breastfed by his mother. I want you to understand this. When he was being nursed, he was sent to his biological mother to be nursed. And so that is the only period of time in the scripture that we see Moses being spent with his mother. However, when Moses came of age, Moshe more identified himself as an Israelite than he did as an Egyptian. Moshe identified himself more as an Israelite than he did as an Egyptian. The reason for that is the brief period of time that Moshe's mother had him. She knew that whatever she did in that brief moment of time, the brief period of time that she had him, whatever she did, this opportunity that she had, whatever she did had to impact him for the rest of his life. And so what she did, the brief period of time that Moses' mother had him and breastfed him, impacted him for the rest of his life more so than growing up in Pharaoh's house. Women, understand the power that you have. He who rocks the cradle, rules the world. And so what happens is that for that period of time that she had him, she was imparting to him not only physically, but also spiritually. Most women don't understand the power. When you are breastfeeding your child, that child is in a state of reception. And so it is during that period of reception that you are able to impart not only breast milk, but spiritual milk. The bond that a child is supposed to develop between his mother and himself is supposed to be unbroken and uninterrupted. For boys, for the first 33 days. For girls, for the first 66 days. And so what she did was, so just imagine the amount of those children who, when they are breastfeeding, the father isn't around. And so the mother has emotions of regret, emotions of bitterness, emotions of, please, can you do a so I feel the feelings of rejection, the feelings of bitterness. As a matter of fact, some mothers, it is when they are breastfeeding that they are cursing the father. You're cursing the father while you're breastfeeding. You are transferring not only negative breast milk, but negative spiritual breast milk. And that is going to become a part of the personality of the child. That child is going to affect the world. She who rocks the cradle rules the world. One of the most powerful positions in the earth is that of a woman. You don't understand the power that you occupy, women. I'm amazed. You don't understand the power that you have. A man's life is influenced and formed by a woman. And then when that man becomes an adult, the woman that he takes up takes over from the mother. It is the reason why there is such a rivalry between mothers and daughter-in-law. Because a lot of mothers who are not spiritual don't understand that it's a relay. You nurture a man for a certain period of time, and you release that man to a woman who will now take over. And so the second most dangerous thing to a man, to a mother, is a type of woman that you take up. The second most dangerous thing to any man is, other than their mother, the type of woman that you take up. It is because nobody else wields as much power and as much influence. In other words, when Adam was in the earth, a woman's influence was so powerful that not even Satan himself could have caused the man to fall in his perfect state. The only way you could get a perfect man to fall is to use the most powerful influence over a man, which is a woman. And so if you have a society of dysfunctional women, dysfunctional mothers, you are going to have a society of dysfunctional man, which is going to translate into a dysfunctional world. So if a mother is bitter, if a mother is, bitter and angry, then, I know a brother, I know a friend. I want to give out two things. I know a young man who I hate how he treats women. I hate how he treats his wife, and I hate how he treats his daughters. So he has no sons, daughters. And I hate how he treats his woman, and I believe he has a wonderful woman, a wonderful wife. I hate how he treats his woman, and I hate how he treats his wife, and I hate how he talks to every other woman as if they're trash and if they don't have any value. But upon further research, I found out that the root of his problem is with his mother, because he blames his mother for leaving him on his father. And so because of that, he has no respect for his mother, which has translated into no respect for women generally. How did I get there? I got there from the premise. I got this is disconnected to postpartum depression. Yeah, it is. So when so we're talking about negative energy. Oh my goodness, man! 41 minutes gone in the life. I need to show you some herbs, but I need to get this out because this is what came to me, and I don't even know. It's as if I didn't want to. I wanted to spend more time talking about herbs, and here it is. I came out, and the first thing that got me is this particular herb that I know is used for cleansing negative aura. So I can't escape it. I have to do what I'm doing. Somebody needs to hear this. So women who are pregnant, be careful how people come to you and touch your belly. Women who just give birth, men, protect your woman from outside persons coming into that space and touching your child. For the first 33 days of a baby boy's life, there is nobody that is supposed to touch that child except the mother. I wouldn't even say the father, the mother. For the first 66 days of a girl child life, nobody is supposed to touch your baby except you. What is being formed is a spiritual umbilical cord, because women, you need to understand that after the physical umbilical cord is cut, you are still connected to the child for the rest of your life. You still have a spiritual umbilical cord. That is the reason why if something happens to your child, women, if something happened to your child is abroad, and something happens, daddy won't feel it. Mommy will feel it because mommy is still connected to that child. There is a spiritual connection that mothers have to their children that can never become cut. It never becomes cut. It only becomes cut the day the mother dies. And so that is the reason why there was a time in Israel. Somebody said, Deborah says you got a gut feeling. You got a gut feeling because the spiritual umbilical cord that is in your gut that is connected to your child, you are feeling from that. And so whenever you allow persons to touch that child, you are reducing the effect of that umbilical cord. You are reducing the effect of that spiritual connection. That is the reason why when Israel went into moral decay, when a nation is in a spiritual crisis, the scripture says, send for the weeping mothers, not the weeping fathers. Because fathers don't carry the connection to the nation. Mothers are connected to the nation. Every nation is connected to the mother of that nation. Only the mother of that nation in a state of crisis can be called upon to do things that nobody else can do. Women, you carry a power that nobody else has in the earth. I want you to understand that. And so when that mother who is in Jamaica senses something wrong in Africa with their child, and in Trinidad or in America, and he says, Johnny, what's happening to you? Where are you? Mom, I'm fine. I'm okay. No, Johnny, tell me what's wrong with you. I sense something. I feel something. What's wrong with you? Come on, talk to me. You're not speaking from a premise of supposition. You know what you feel. What you feel is that umbilical cord, that spiritual umbilical cord. And so there's a difference with your prayer from daddy's prayer. I'm not talking about the men, and I don't want to undermine daddy, but I'm talking about mommy this morning. There is a power, and there is a level of connection that mother has to their children that allows their prayer to be far more effective and far more powerful. Mothers have been entrusted with the responsibility of carrying and nurturing for the rest of your life. And that is the reason why when a child disrespects their mother, oh my goodness, you are done for. Why? It is because of that prophetic position that mothers have and fathers have. So a lot of persons who are dysfunctional physically, that physical ailment, that physical sickness is rooted in a spiritual cause. And a lot of the time, that spiritual cause was from infancy. Somebody who touched you shouldn't have touched you. And so that is the reason why in the Torah, we are instructed as men to ensure that when we have our women or our wives giving birth, we should protect them. We should go into overprotection mode to say, hey, you can't see her right now. She had a successful delivery. She's doing fine. She's recuperating. As soon as she's available, you'll be one of the first to meet her, to see her, and to see how the baby is doing. No, we're not allowing visitors right now. Men, we've got to be more protective because a lot of the times the people who touch our children pass on negative aura. And so negative aura, so this herb, croton, is a herb that is used to remove that negative aura. And it comes in a variety of option because, as you know, nature, Mother Nature is filled with options. So here is another variety. So that one carries a long leaf, multicolored. Here's another one. So this is mostly green and yellow. Here's another one. This one is mostly red and green. So there are some that, let me see, here's some over here. So Mother Nature carries variety. So here's one, it's yellow and green. Here's one that's, has purple and green. Here's another one, very beautiful one, that carries yellow and green and red. All of this is on one plant. All of this is on one plant. And so this plant, here's another one. This is mostly yellow and green. So it's used to cleanse negative energy. This one is also used to cleanse negative energy. What can we do about the error? All right, so I want to go into some plants. We have the power to reverse. One of the beauty of being able to identify is having the power to reverse. One of the creative power that we have is the power of words, sound power, energy. And so we can identify, we can correct, we can reverse when we identify certain negative energy. As I said, that a lot of these energies, it's important because you're applying the herb. And another morning, I'm going to spend some time talking about certain emotions and what type of ailments they translate into. Because remember, every emotion that you're having is the result of a hormone. All right, for you to feel horny, that's a hormone. Well, for you to be happy, that's a hormone. For you to be sad, that's a hormone. All of these range of emotions that you have is hormones. And what happens sometimes is that a lot of these hormones that is released in the body was not supposed to be released in the amounts that has been released and for the duration that has been released. So, for example, anger is a hormone. You know, anger, the hormone that anger releases is necessary for you to do certain things when you're angry. But nobody should stay angry for long, because the hormones that anger allow you to release becomes very dangerous over a period of time. All right. And I'll talk about them in another live. And so it has a certain effect on the tissues of the body, because remember, chemicals have effects on the tissues of the body, and that's where herb come in. What we try to do in natural medicine is we try to, as best as possible, match the medicinal property of the herb to the state of the tissue. So whatever state the tissue is in, if the state of the tissue is in a mucus state, then what we need is astringent to push that mucus out. If that tissue is in an inflamed state, what we need is an anti-inflammatory herb to drive that inflammation out. If the tissue is holding on to toxin, what we need is a herb to neutralize that toxin. And if you see what I'm saying. So a healer, a good healer, is able to match the medicinal property of the herb to the state that the tissue is in. And the tissues tell us what state they are in, right? The tissues tell us what state they are in. So if the tissue is in a state where there's a lot of mucus, you're going to see mucus running from the nose. You're going to see stuffiness, all that. What herbs can be used to heal astigmatism? As I said, some herbs, some healing is not rooted in the physical use of the herb. It's sometimes the spiritual use of the herb. All right. So some of the herbs that we know that are used powerfully are herbs like Madame Fate. We call it spirit weed. Bachelor's button. Pavana. So maybe what I need to do is I need to put a list of herbs that have spiritual healing properties. Should I do that, guys? I need to put an ebook together. I want to put an ebook together with herbs that convey, that carry healing spiritual properties, or that are more suitable for healing, used for healing spiritual ailments rather than physical ailments. And so, just like how I talk about the aura of depression and bitterness, there is also the aura, the plant Santa Maria feverfew. Oh yeah, I know Santa Maria feverfew. I did a video on that recently. That's a herb that we use when we're having measles. When I had measles, that's a herb that my grandmother bathed me in. So oh guys, I have 7 minutes. I'm gonna go quickly to some more herbs, because I'm in the state of a compound. I'm gonna send some pictures of some herbs, some that I'm seeing for the first time. But there are a lot of herbs that carry that healing property. Cardinal's gourd plant. Yeah, there's a medicinal use, Mahat, for cardinal's gourd. And I'm going to talk about that. But let me show you one of the herbs. Let me quickly show you one of the herbs that I see growing here in abundance. And this is a herb that is used to get rid of mucus. It's one of my favorite herbs. I don't even know where to start. Let me show you. So this herb, can you, oh, hold on. This herb is Search Me Out. And this is a herb that has a lot of oils in it, essential oils. The minute you touch it and smell it, it has a lot of oil. We use this to clear the lungs of asthma, get rid of cold. along with this herb. Now, I don't know how many of you know this herb, but this is a herb that's used as an ornamental. It's a type of pavana. This herb here, it's a type of pavana. It's called Aurelia or Aurelia. And Aurelia is a herb that my grandmother and my mother used to give me. Now I use a lot of John Charles. I use a lot of search me out. Use a lot of milkweed. But on its own, this herb, this flower, this ornamental, you know it? Yeah, Jamoni. So this is the famous Aurelia. And when you dry this, man, I mean, just one use of this herb and your cold is gone. So this is a good herb to combine with John Charles. Let me show you another herb that I see here. I don't remember the name of this herb, but I don't use it a lot. But look at this herb. Now, it grows some berry similar to dog blood. This is not dog blood. Don't remember the name of it. I'm going to take a picture and post it in the group after. But what I've noticed about this herb is almost everywhere that Maroons live, this herb grow there. So I see it I'm in a compound now. I see it in Moortown. Most of the Maroon settlements have this herb. And it's a herb that is used for infertility. Whenever they use the dog blood and the dog blood don't work, this is what they draw for. And so this is a herb that we combine with the dog blood to help women who are having black tubes and infertility issue. It grows everywhere. I'm going to get closer. Everywhere. I'm going to take pictures of it, man. I'm going to take pictures of it and post in the group. And I've identified already. I just don't remember the name of it right now, but I'm going to post it in the group. All right? I'm going to post it in the group. So it's used a lot for infertility. Use a lot for infertility. So I'm going to walk on the ledge here and notice almost everywhere. So one of the herbs that we see growing in high frequency is this herb, which is the Search Me Heart. Now, one of the reasons why this herb is growing in abundance is because it's a herb. Remember we talk about herbs grow in areas where they are most needed. They grow in areas to deal with the health conditions which manifest in that geographical location. So if you live at high altitude, one of the health issues that you're going to have is respiratory problems. So these herbs help with respiratory problems. Man, I don't know if I want to give you back some of your minutes because I spent so much time talking about the energy of herbs that I have not gotten. So my live is going to finish in the next 3 minutes, and I want to show you some more herbs. Let's go to the back because there's so many herbs growing here. And there's a herb garden down the front with so many herbs. So as you can see, lots and lots of pavana, lots of variety of pavana. Lots of pavana. I'm coming around here for the first time. And here is a susumba. Here's a susumba. So this is actually a plant. It's a food and it's also a vegetable. It's a food and it's also a vegetable. And here is a soursop. Now most of the herbs that are growing here are domestic herbs. These are herbs that my host has put in herself. If you want to do a herb audit, so if you want to do a herb audit, let me show you something, guys. Because she was the one who chose what herbs is in our yard. If you want to do a herb audit, you've got to go into the forest where there is wild-crafted vegetables, wild-crafted plants. If you go into that bush and do a herb audit of what is found, which herbs are more frequently occurring, then it will give you a true reflection of what nature sees as being needed in this particular area. All right, so I'm not going to get a chance to do that, but if you go into this wild part of the yard, just go there, then you will get a true idea of what is growing there on its own. But I see so many herbs here. I see so many herbs growing here. Um, I see so many herbs growing in the yard. As I said, this is soursop. I see guaco. I see lots of pimento because in the hills here of Moortown, a lot of these hills are very famous for pimento. So pimentos grow here wildly. They grow here wild. And pimento again is also a herb that is a spice. It's good for circulation because again, the problems, and so you find in a lot of maroon formulation the use of pimento, because again, for persons who live at high elevation, traveling that terrain is going to impact the musculoskeletal nerve system, and so pimento is one of the herbs that is going to help them. So again, nature is telling you about the ailments that are here and what is necessary. I'm gonna do some more pictures. If you have any questions, guys, it's coming to an end. I want to thank you for joining us, and see you in our next live. Bye bye, guys.